right? If you want to look at the lasting impact of what you did, you might realize that the impact was not strong enough to last. And the reason is because it came by a lot of zeal and emotions without proper knowledge. I give you an example. Have you been traveling before and then you find our brothers and sisters who preach in buses, for instance, before you take off? Or you are moving by the streets of town in the market, you find our brothers with portable PA systems, by that I mean speakers, and they are preaching the gospel. Are we together now? Don't you admire their zeal? You should admire their zeal, right? Yes. They are outgoing. They are outspoken. They are out to preach the gospel. That zeal is awesome. However, have you checked if what they do has any lasting impact? Huh? As a matter of fact, when you even look at the content of their messages, you realize that the content is too shallow. Shallow in the sense that it lacks the capacity to genuinely bring a person to Christ. Are you feeling what I'm saying here? Please pay close attention to what I'm saying. And by what I am saying, I am not justifying your lack of zeal even after you've gained knowledge. Are we together? I'm just trying to say that the knowledge that you gained, and it appeared as if your outgoing for God kind of reduced. It is not completely a loss. Are you following what I'm saying here? Permit me say, if with the zeal you got born again, if you kept running with that zeal, and you didn't have the knowledge you have acquired over time, I doubt if you would have still been in the faith. Are you following what I'm saying here? Yes, it is important that we reach out. It is important that we be a blessing to people. It is important that we preach the gospel. Okay? As important as that is, there's a statement I have never forgotten and I will never stop saying it. Don't get lost in trying to save the lost. Are you following what I'm saying here? Okay. So what happens is when God causes you to grow in knowledge, it is because God is more interested in quality service over quantity. All right? Quality service over what? Quantity. When you just got born again, the zeal was there, the passion was burning. So you could preach the gospel in 3 streets in a day. Quantity. But now, with more knowledge, you are now beginning to realize that it is not just about getting somebody to say Jesus is Lord. You are realizing that there is a lot more involved. You are realizing that it doesn't just end at getting somebody to confess Jesus. After they've confessed Jesus, you need to take them through discipleship. Are you following what I'm saying here? And you are also realizing that you are becoming committed and involved in discipleship work and then bringing ministry to the body, like in a local church, for instance. And so because of that, you would now realize that you no longer have the time that you had when you just got born again to invade 3 streets in 2 hours. If you are interested in quantity, you can invade 3 streets in 2 hours. You hear? Where you just tell them, come to Jesus, your life will change. Say this prayer after me. Please, can I have your number, your name? Right? And then after 3 weeks, you can't look back at that same person who seemingly gave his life to Christ and gave you their number. You can't look at them and say, this one is in the faith. But you see, if you are interested in quality, at times it might be as simple as just live in the neighborhood. Don't preach yet. Just be a Christian. Just be a Christian. Let your life talk to them first before you eventually preach to them. Now, at that point, it is not quantity you are looking for, because by so doing, you might have to live in that neighborhood for 3 months without preaching and just be a good Christian, represent the Christ well for 3 months. Whereas for those 3 months, somebody who just got born again and is burning with zeal, and that zeal is good, all right? That phase of life is very, very important, because that phase of life plays as a foundation to most of the things that you will eventually begin to do well, even after you've gained knowledge. Within the 3 months that you are just living as a Christian, somebody has preached to an entire village. But 3 months later, you come to that same village and realize that the same people that attended his preaching engagement, they are the same people visiting Otomoko in the night. Right? Because to them, what they want is what is working. So if it means to mix God and Otomoko, at least, I saw a funny video somewhere of somebody went to a shrine, and then while the native doctor was doing consultation, he went there with his friend. While the native doctor was doing consultation, he was busy praying, praying to God. So his friend now tapped him and said, "Why are you praying in a shrine?" He said he wants to mix the two. All right? That he wants to mix the two. He wants to mix God and what? Yes. So you now realize that if it is quality you are interested in, you will not be too outspoken. And like I said, it is not a guarantee for what? For laziness. I was talking with somebody today who is a student, and she was telling me how that she feels like what God is doing with her in her school is for her to preach with her life. Because she has not opened her mouth to preach, but her life is already convicting people, and all of that. So I told her, I said, yes, when we say, and the person was quoting something that we have always said, preach the gospel by all means, when necessary, use words. And so the person was quoting that statement, and they were saying that she feels like what God is doing with her in her school is for her to preach more with her life, rather than opening her mouth to preach the gospel. So I told her, I said, yes, when we say preach the gospel at all times, if necessary, use words, we are not saying that you will choose which one to use. We are just laying emphasis on you paying close attention to your life in addition to the preaching. So it does not mean that if an opportunity comes for you to open your mouth and preach, you will now keep quiet and say, what God is doing with me is my life. Let my life do the preaching. No. Is that okay? For instance, I hope you know there was a man in scripture that was very outspoken. If it is zeal, that man could be associated to zeal. You know what I'm talking about? Apollos. But he was limited in knowledge. And so when Priscilla and Aquila eventually met with him, brought him in and expounded unto him the scriptures, we didn't hear of his outspoken exploits anymore. Are you with me here? Now, it is one of the things that comes with growth and maturity. It is not as if you are no longer doing things, but you are doing things from a different understanding. It is no longer just about quantity. You are more interested in quality, because now you know that at the end of the day, every man's work will be tested of what sort, not of the quantity. So you are more interested in the fact that, okay, if I'm to win 3 souls, may I do a good job. May may I win souls that will never be won again. I'll share with you a brief story. Back then in Tibati, while we were doing ministry and preaching the gospel, one of the things that we noticed, which eventually became a problem to us, right? And I mean to those of us who were preaching, was the fact that we were doing a lot, but there was no quality in what we were doing. And what we noticed was this. It was the same congregation. We are not talking of different people. Hear me out. It was the same congregation. So we had the pastor of the church. We had another pastor who was in town who used to share fellowship with us. And my pastor is very liberal. You know, if he believes that you're a man of God, he gives you platform. So we had myself. I'm talking of people who used to preach. Then we had my brother, Pastor Caleb. Then we had another sister. So we're 5 of us. All right? So if I preach this week, after my preaching, if I do altar call, people will come out to give their lives to Christ. Next week, if Pastor Caleb preaches and does altar call, the same people. Yes, believe me, the same people will what? Come out and give their lives to Christ. The upper week, if that sister preaches, if she does altar call, people will come out. And among the people who are coming out, the same people who came for my own, came for Pastor Caleb, are now coming for this sister's altar call. If that other pastor preaches the upper week, I'm telling you, they will come. Yes. If my pastor preaches, they will come. So I now got up one day and I told them, I said, this one that when everybody preach and does altar call, it is the same people that are coming out. Is it that when you give your heart to Jesus within the week, you go and collect it back? Or what is happening? All right? And then I eventually discovered that it was because we were more interested in quantity than quality. Yes. When you begin to pay attention to quality, you will not just be interested in winning a soul so that you go and fill your data bank that, okay, today I want 2 souls. No. You will be interested in ensuring that if I have won a soul, that soul will not need to be won again. That soul will not need to be won again. So at that point, you are paying attention to quality over and above quantity. Now, if you judge your spiritual progress in terms of quality, you will not make that remark that you just made. But if you want to judge your spiritual progress in terms of quantity and activeness, activity, involvement, that's when you can make that remark. That, oh, it's like I was more zealous when I just got born again than now. Whereas some of the challenges that have come at you now, and you survived, and you still stood in the faith, if they came to the you that was that zealous or the law, you would have used the back door. Are you following what I'm saying here? But remember what I am saying. It is not a license for spiritual lethargy and laxity. I am simply saying that you were not better when you got born again. Did I help somebody? You were not what? Better when you got born again. It will only become a problem if, with the increase of knowledge, your degree of the fear and reverence for God has declined, where you now accommodate sin willfully. That's where we will say, sister, this is not how to progress in God. Return to your first love. You follow what I'm saying here? Yes. But if it is in terms of, okay, doings, things you are doing for God, I can tell you that you are not better. You were not better when you got born again. You are actually better off now. Is that okay? Yeah. Yes, Tony. And please, if you are following us online, you can do well to drop your question in the comment section. The media will extract it for us, and then we will attend to it. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. My question comes from 1 Corinthians as well, chapter 9, chapter 11.
Pardon?
My question comes from 1 Corinthians chapter 11.
11.
Yes.
11. Okay. Speak from here. Don't speak from here. 1 Corinthians 11.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what verse?
6.
Verse 6.
Yes.
For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered. Yes.
And then verse 5 as well.
Okay, verse 5. But every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head, for that is even all one as if she was shaven. Okay.
My worry comes from, I think this scripture is more of a descriptive something.
Continue.
Okay, and I believe as well it's more of a law. So my question now is it that the question has not been given attention, or it's no longer considered?
What exactly?
That phrase where women are not supposed to cover their hair, so they honor the man, which is their authority, and they honor God as well.
Okay, so if I understand you very well, you're saying that this scripture is prescribing that women should not pray without looking the way.
Yes, sir.
You came at the right time. Right? So, hi. Yes. So, if I'm getting you correctly, you are saying that according to this scripture, before women pray and prophesy, they should look like Agui, right?
Yes, sir.
And not like B.
Yes.
Are we together? And now, let's be using practical examples now, the ones that we can see, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, let's look at that scripture again, all right? Meanwhile, it is important that I state something before proceeding. Is that okay? When it comes to the matters of doctrine, there are a few laws that govern us, and I'm going to state them. Number one, in the essentials, unity. In the non-essentials, liberty. In all things, charity. I'll break that down. It means that in the essentials of the faith, there must be unity. They should be absolutes. All of us should agree on them. An example of essential tenets of our faith is the incarnation of the Christ, his humanity, his divinity. He died on the cross. He didn't die of food poisoning. Is that okay? Not be assassination where they catch him, ambush and shoot him, die. No. So when it comes to those essentials of the faith, what is expected is unity, irrespective of your denomination. Then when it comes to the non-essentials of the faith, what we practice or what governs us should be liberty. And by non-essentials, we are referring to those aspects of the faith that do not directly affect your salvation. Is that okay? So meaning that as far as those aspects of the faith are concerned, you can find different denominations believing different things or having different opinions as far as that subject matter is concerned. But in all, there should be what? Charity, love. Meaning even if you hold a different view from mine as far as the non-essentials are concerned, I will not begin to demonize you, to say you don't know God, you are not of God, you are of the devil. You understand? Good. So this matter you raise now, it falls under the non-essentials. Is that okay? So what that will mean is, whatever response I will be giving here is not a universal law. And it does not also mean that if you find another church or another pastor or another denomination that holds a different opinion from what I am about to say, it doesn't mean they are wrong, and it doesn't mean they are false. Is that okay? These are what? This is part of the non-essentials. When it comes to these non-essentials, they do not directly affect your salvation. And so, there is somewhat of what? Liberty. All right, so I needed to say that. Okay, in bringing my own perspective or response to this, I'm going to begin the reading from verse 1 so that we get the context of 1 Corinthians chapter number 11. So that you will understand that what you will find in the latter verses of chapter 11, they are a continuation of a conversation. Is that okay? So, 11 verse 1. Be ye followers of me, even I also am of Christ. All right, next verse. Verse 2. He said, now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things and keep the ordinances as I deliver them unto you. So if you look at verse number 1, he begins to tell us the premise or the context of what is being discussed. Is that okay? Go back to verse 1. Let me show you 3 things there. Verse 1, please. Okay, it said, be ye followers of me, even as I am of who? Christ. Are you here? Now, there are 3 personalities captured in that verse 1. Have you seen the 3 personalities? We have followership, we have leadership, and we have headship. Right? Headship, Christ. Leadership, me, Paul. Followership, ye. Be ye followers of what? Of me. Are you understanding now? Huh? I'm talking to you. Are you understanding? Good. So this is the context of what? The conversation. You are saying followership, you are saying leadership, and you are saying what? Headship. Let's go to verse number 3. He said, but I would have you know, he continues, that the head of every man is who? Christ. And the head of every woman is who? The man. And the head of Christ is who? God. Are we together now? Verse 4. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head uncovered, having his head covered, dishonored his head. Please, I want you to pay close attention. Is that okay? So, Paul is saying, please go back to verse 4. I'm not done with verse 4. Paul is saying that if you find a man who is praying and then used a cap or maybe headscarf to cover his head, are you with me? That action has a spiritual connotation. And the spiritual connotation is the fact that what that man has done, he is suggesting that he has another head. Are you with me? Okay. If a man, remember it said the head of the man is who? Christ. The head of the man is Christ. So if you find a man praying and then he covers his head physically, right? what that man is indirectly saying is that he has something or someone else acting as his head and not Christ. And that's why he says, if a man is praying or prophesying with his head covered, he dishonored his head, not this one. He dishonored Christ, who is the head of the man. Are you following what I'm saying here? So it is important that you understand that the main issue is the posture in the spirit, or the posture of heart before the physical action. Are you following what I'm saying here? Prudential, behave yourself. So the main issue, please attend to those children out there. The main issue is the posture of heart, or the disposition spiritually. Are you following what I'm saying here? And what I mean by that is, a man might also be praying physically without having anything on his head. But the spiritual posture or the spiritual disposition is that of dishonor towards Christ. Are you following what I'm saying here? So the main issue is not whether I covered my head or not. The main issue is my reaction or my response or my relating with my head, who is the Christ. So if I live a life of outright disobedience to the Christ, outright sin against the Christ, right? And the posture of my heart is not one that genuinely honors him, and I come here praying and prophesying without covering my head, you will think I am honoring my head, whereas the real thing in the spirit is that I'm dishonoring my head. Because spiritually, even though I stood here with nothing on my head, in the realm of the spirit, it will appear that I am covered. Are you following what I'm saying here? You know, I taught you, was it here? And I told you that disobedience is obedience. Did I say it here? Disobedience is what? Is obedience. So if my head, who is the Christ, gave me instructions and I disobeyed, I hope you know I have obeyed something else. And there is a law in the spirit, Romans 6:16, to whomsoever you yield yourselves servants to obey, servants of the same ye are. Are you following what I'm saying here? So if I disobey the Christ, I have obeyed something or someone else. And by obeying that something or someone else, I am saying that that something or someone else has become my head. Are you following what I'm saying here? I can still come here without wearing cap and I'm speaking in tongues. In the realm of the spirit, I am covered. Because I have dishonored what? My head, who is Christ. Did you get that? Did you understand that about the man? All right, let's go back to 1 Corinthians 11. Now we can enter verse number 5. 1 Corinthians 11, we can go to verse number 5 now. Family of Yahweh. Or do I read? The man of God. You're welcome, sir. We're glad to have you around. All right, so look at verse number 5 now. I hope you have understood verse 4. Verse 5. It said, every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonored her head. For that it is even all as one, it is even all one as if she were what? Remember that the emphasis has to do with your posture, the trust, or your spiritual decision. Is that okay? So, who